There was no sky beyond the gate, no land, no stars, only the memory of a world, crumbling and flickering like a candle guttering in a storm. Prince Elien moved through this void not with his body, but his will. His shape bled at the edges, less man than meaning. Here, he was not bound by time, and yet something waited. He passed through veils of memory, seeing echoes of those who came before him. Kings, knights, mages, nameless wanderers, each of them marked by ambition or terror. Some had tried to fight the Hollow. Others had begged it. All of them failed. Their spirits drifted around him, tethered by chains of guilt and silence. Elien did not speak. He listened. The Hollow was not a creature. It was not even a single will. It was the weight of what the world refused to carry. Grief without closure, truth without voice, wounds so deep even time dared not touch them. The Hollow was a kingdom made of unspoken sorrow, and in its center stood a crown, suspended in the void, forged of black iron and threads of light. Each thread a life forgotten, a name erased, a cost unpaid, and it called to him, not with hunger but with need. To rule here is to remember, Elien, came a voice, not male or female, not old or young. It was a voice made of every soul he had heard weep in the dark. To take the silent crown is to bind the Hollow. But it comes with a price. Which is? Elien asked, though his voice felt like thunder in a place not made for sound. You will not be loved. You will not be known. You will rule from behind memory, unseen, so that others may forget in peace. He understood. The world above needed to forget the horrors, the pain, the darkness. Someone had to bear that burden in silence, without thanks or glory. The Hollow King had tried, and been consumed. Elien had a choice. He could seal the gate, abandon this realm, and live as a mortal king for a while. Until the Hollow returned again, as it always did. Or he could stay. Take the silent crown. Be forgotten. But ensure the world would never need to face the Hollow again. He closed his eyes, and bowed his head. The crown descended, not upon his brow, but into his soul, and Elien the king was no more. Only a presence remained, watching, waiting, guarding, a silent protector in the void where no light lived. In the world above, the sky cleared. The sun returned. The madness faded from men's minds. Fields grew again, children laughed, and the gate at Kethler crumbled to dust. None remembered Elien. Only stories remained, half-songs, myth, of a prince who had gone into shadow, and never returned. 100 years passed. The gate was gone, its ruins swallowed by time. The city of Kethler became a myth, its location debated by scholars and charlatans alike. And Prince Elien, if his name was spoken at all, was only a fading legend. But the world had not forgotten him entirely. In the quiet hours before dawn, when the mist rolled low across the hills and the stars blinked with unease, children still dreamed of a man in silver, standing in a dark place, watching. They called him the Hollow Watcher. And though no temple bore his name, offerings appeared in places of sorrow. A blade laid gently at a burial mound, a crown of dried flowers atop a grave, a single coin on a bridge where a widow wept. None knew why. But something in the world still remembered. In the restored kingdom of Eleron, now ruled by a peaceful high council, a young archivist named Kalen Voss discovered a hidden vault beneath the royal library. It was sealed with wards older than the current dynasty, bound by a symbol no historian recognized, a black crown made of twisted light. Inside was a single artifact, a sword, wrapped in silver cloth, and humming softly with a rhythm like a distant heartbeat. Kalen reached for it, and when his fingers brushed the hilt, the world stopped. He saw a vision, a vast void beyond time, filled with a throne of memory, a shattered gate, and a presence watching him. "You are too early," the presence said. "But you are not the last." The vision vanished. Kalen awoke in the archive, the sword beside him, still wrapped. He told no one. Far from Eleron, in the shattered lowlands beyond the iron reaches, a group of miners unearthed a series of black stone pillars buried beneath the earth. They bore no writing, but when touched they whispered. Not aloud, but inside the mind. Most who heard them went mad. Others wept. A few took their own lives. But one, a girl born blind, named Talia, stood before the stones and smiled. "They are crying," she said. "And he is still listening." The elders marked her as touched by the gods, and yet feared her. She began to speak in tongues at night, muttering forgotten names. Names of kings and warriors no history held. One name returned often: Elian. Though the gate was sealed and the Hollow King now ruled the realm beyond, the seal had never been perfect. It could not be. For memory itself was a living thing, and living things shift, twist, break. The balance Elian had forged was one of sacrifice, not permanence. And now cracks were forming. Whispers returned in the dreams of sensitive minds. Mages of the crystal fold began to go missing. Children in the borderlands sang lullabies in languages they had never been taught. In one village, every mirror turned black for 7 nights. In another, a shepherd looked to the sky and saw no stars. Elian stirs. In the void beyond the gate, time moved like mist. Elian no longer thought in hours or days, but in meanings. He saw ripples across the veil. He felt memory weakening. The darkness, always watchful, began to stir, not with malice but with hunger. Not for destruction, but acknowledgement. "They forget again," it whispered to him. "Let us remind them." But Elian's presence burned bright. He held the gate shut, not with chains, but with willingness. So long as he remembered their pain, the Hollow would not escape. But even he was changing. Pieces of himself, his past, his name, his face, were fading. Memory is not eternal, even for a god. He needed someone new. A bridge. A voice in the world above. Kalen Voss, the young scholar, wandered further from the halls of Eleron. He followed visions, dreams, echoes. He met Talia, who seemed to know him before he arrived. "You're the one who held his sword," she told him. "You carry the thread. You're not the heir, but you are the messenger." Together they gathered others, those who dreamed, those who saw. The world was not ending, but it was tilting. And in the shadow of that tilt, Elian's legacy would rise again, not in armies, not in banners, but in those willing to remember what others would rather forget. Kalen spoke the words aloud one night, staring into the flame of a campfire. "He gave everything so we could forget. Now we must remember." And in the hollow realm, far beyond the stars, Elian opened his eyes. The hollow was stirring, not like a creature waking from sleep, but like a tide swelling beneath the surface of the world. And only a few could hear the rising hum. Fewer still could answer it. Kalen Voss was one of them. Talia was another. Together, they traveled east to the Rootspire, an ancient monolith said to predate even the oldest kingdoms. Carved with symbols lost to time, the spire had long been silent. Until now. Its stones had begun to glow with a faint, silvery pulse, the same pulse Kalen had seen in the sword from the vault, the sword once wielded by Elian. But the closer they came to the Rootspire, the more wrong the world felt. Birdsong vanished. Shadows stretched too long. The air grew still, as if holding breath. In the villages nearby, people had forgotten their own names, speaking only in riddles and scraps of dreams. One woman simply whispered. The gate was not the first. Atop the Rootspire, beneath a sky swirling with stormlight, Kalen and Talia found a hidden chamber carved into the rock. Inside, a mural spanned the wall, painted in ancient inks and dried blood. It showed 3 gates. One beneath the earth. 2, one beneath the sea. 3, and one beneath the mind. The gate Elian had sealed was the first. But it was not the only. The Hollow, it seemed, was not a single prison. It was a network of memory, built to contain something far older than sorrow. "It isn't just grief," Talia whispered, tracing the mural. "It's memory that remembers itself. Memory that feeds. The Hollow is alive." Kalen's thoughts turned to Elian. If the prince had sealed only one of 3 gates, and was already beginning to fray, what would happen if all 3 opened?